first off, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. And you're right, Senator Negron and Representative Metz are big advocates for the nursing home industry. And let me tell you, it's not easy. You have a great industry. I think every one of us can probably talk about how the nursing home industry has impacted their family. I remember in my case, I grew up in the Midwest, and I remember visiting both my grandparents. They were both in the same nursing home in the Midwest. And you could just see, the compassion, the individuals that took care of them, how they built a relationship with my grandparents. My grandparents had a great experience there, and I bet you could tell pretty much everybody in the country probably has an experience, whether it's their grandparents, great-grandparents, another relative, mother, father, something like that. So I think the most important thing anybody, when they come and address you, is just thank you for what you do, because it's not easy. The funding's always tough. The regulations are a lot. Coming out of the healthcare industry, the amount of regulation is just unbelievable. And it's not that people don't want to, they just want to make sure the right thing happens for patients, but there's so much regulation that it ultimately takes away from being able to do the right thing sometimes. So my background is I grew up in the Midwest. I've been the luckiest guy alive. I lived in public housing. I sort of joke, I started in public housing, I'm back. If you ever have a chance to go to the mansion, it's a lot better than where I grew up. But where I grew up was nice. I had great parents. But I ran. I've been in business pretty much all my life. In healthcare, I've done everything from hospitals to surgery centers to urgent care centers, pharmacy, all sorts of different things. I never did nursing homes, and I know how difficult the industry is, and that's part of the reason why I was always reluctant to go into it. But I'm very appreciative of everybody that goes into it because it's not easy. And I know you have a lot of compassion. But I ran on a campaign to get our state back to work. If you think about it, if you want the proper funding for nursing homes, we're not going to do it if we don't have a great economy. It's just not going to happen. We've got to get our state back to work. We've got to get our country back to work. So I ran on a campaign of 7 steps to 700,000 jobs. And basically, how do you do it? You run your state like you have to run your business, like you have to run your household. You watch how you spend your money. You don't waste your money. You keep your costs as low as you can. You provide a great service. And you focus on how you, in the case of if we want more jobs, how do you make sure business people in the state do well? If we want more private sector jobs, and if we don't have more private sector jobs, we'll never have enough money to pay for the things that we care about, the safety nets we care about. And we've had a lot of success in the last 18 months. We've cut property taxes. We've reduced the business tax for 2/3 of the companies that are paying it. We've cut out, I think, about 1,600 regulations so far. And so what's happened, if you look at on the job side, jobs are coming back to the state. We've had unemployment's dropped faster in our state than in every state but one. It's dropped from 11.1 to 8.6%, 2.5%. We've gone from 568,000 people on unemployment to I think it's about 328,000 people now on unemployment. We have workforce boards that are filling about 30,000 jobs a month. So on that side, we've made a lot of progress. Our state revenues are up, so we're heading in the right direction. The other thing we've put a lot of focus in, because it's important to every one of your families, is education. We've got to make sure we have proper funding for education, just like we have to make sure we have proper funding for nursing homes. So we've increased school choice. We have more charter schools now every year. I think this year we'll get up to a little under 600 charter schools in the state. So there's more choice for parents. We put $1.068 billion more into K-12 education. We've made it easier we've started the process of merit pay. So we're doing the same thing that we're doing in other areas with education. Now here's the tough part of our budget. And Senator Negron is clearly a leader and is very hardworking with regard to nursing homes, with regard to the budget. But you have a budget. I've been governor now for 18 months. We've had 2 budgets. First budget, we had about a $3.7 billion budget deficit. And the second budget we walked in for the fiscal year just started about $1.7 billion. And if you look at it's your money. It's your money is the state budget is primarily sales tax and property tax dollars. And I haven't seen many people say that I want to vote for a tax increase. At least they don't show up at my office very often. And so they don't want their costs to go up, but they'd like to provide more and more and more. You can't do it if you can't figure out how to do it more effectively or more efficiently. And so knowing how difficult it is to make sure that our nursing home industry can continue to provide the great service you do provide, we've been very cautious what adverse impact we have on the nursing home industry. But your budget is basically healthcare, it's law enforcement, which is primarily at the state level is prisons, and education. So any dollar we put in there's no new big pocket of money. So any dollars we take from one place, if there's no new dollars, so we've got to continue to figure out how to spend it better. But we understand that your margins are not high. We understand that it's very difficult if your budgets get cut. And I think you have a leader in Senator Negron. I think the Senate leadership believes that way. I think the House leadership believes that way. If I would give you any advice, make sure you continue to talk to everybody that's elected and let them know, get them out and visit your facilities and let them know whether it's a rule or regulation or what your cost structure is to make sure they understand how difficult it is to do the service you provide. But in Florida, we're heading in the right direction. Jobs are coming back, so hopefully our budget will get better. It'll be nice if sometime while I'm governor we walk in, we have a budget surplus, so we can put more money into things we care about. But that's what we're doing, and we're going to continue to focus on making sure we do the right thing for the nursing home industry, because I know you're doing the right thing for our parents, grandparents, and other relatives. You have great leadership in Tallahassee. You have individuals that show up. They get around, talk to individuals about your industry. But if I would give you any advice, every one of you ought to come. If during session, especially you get up there and talk to people, let them know, tell them your stories. When I was in the hospital business, I went to D.C. probably, I guess, at least twice a month, and I just went up to say, this is what's happening to the industry. When you pass this rule or regulation, this is how it impacts patient care, which is what I cared about, and I know that's what you care about. So what I just want to tell you is, I think Representative Metz and Senator Negron and I would say the same thing. You are doing a great job. You're doing a great job for patients. We're going to do everything we can to make sure you have proper funding, knowing that budgets are going to be tight. And hopefully, if we've done the right thing and our economy gets better, then it'll get easier going forward. But we will not forget how important your industry is and how important it is to make sure you have the right funding. So let me just finish by thanking everybody for what you're doing, because I'm sure that in the years to come, I'll have more and more family and friends that are taken care of by you, and I want to make sure you can continue to do a great job. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.